Good morning, everybody. Today's letter to the Advocate. I wonder if they're ever going to actually get the spine to print one. If they're ever going to allow an actual free speech, like whether they will let an opinion that differs from the agenda or the narrative slip through. Is someone going to have the courage to let someone actually have a different opinion? What's the point in hopping up and down about, I'll get in trouble if I say this and say that, when no one even lets you say it anyway? How about whatever happened to freedom of the press? Whatever happened to open dialogue? Discussion, conflict resolution. See, it's all a pipe dream if we're not allowed to speak, if we're not even allowed to put pen to paper, or if it's a waste of time to put pen to paper. People can't read. People misconstrue words because they do not have the literary skills or literacy comprehensivity. the literal I get tongue tied because I try talking without teeth. The literary comprehensive understandings to critically think of the words that are presented to them. The written word and the spoken word do not align quite often, even if they're exactly the same words. Because people don't grasp punctuation and grammar. Anyhow, come on, Advocate, grow up here. Buck the system just once. I dare you. I double dare you. In fact, I double dare pinky dare you. The kids are not okay. Are your kids okay? No. They're not. You might think they are, but they're not. You may have raised them right, set them off on the path they should travel so they don't wander from it when they are older, or at least think you have. Do you even know the path yourself? You see, I see a lot of telling, but I don't hear any showing. Yes, you read that correctly, and you heard that right. Every child that your children interact with, and who interact with yours, are, whether touching grass or online, shaping the way each other interacts with the future. The way we allow people to interact with us in front of them, and vice versa, shapes the way they navigate the world in the future, and the here and now. This is where I come to the point. Mad science politics has legislated its way into policing, and there is nothing lawful about it. The new legislature around speech and police privileges are exactly the same. They have not changed. I know. I'm a free speech absolutist, and jurisprudential query has seen my firearms licence suspended for the third time a few months back. We can't lay the blame on the police. They think they have powers, not privileges, which comes full circle back to parenting. The police of today were kids when they joined the service and turned into political pepper spray, alphas in stoic disguise, too young to know better. Legislation is political mad science enforced by police to gaslight an angry chilling effect. Problem, reaction, solution dialectics. No, the kids are not okay. We've done this. Well, not me. My kids are not okay. Why? Possibly because of your kids. Possibly because the kids are a little bit older or a little bit younger. You see, our generation is not okay because of the kids of today in uniform. But it's not their fault. It's not their fault they're idiots. Our generation have let them down. But they don't have the mental capacity or psychological and emotional maturity to control their feelings and to think about that statement. They'll just get gaslit over it. It's not their fault they're idiots. They just hear idiot. It's kind of like the word denier. Oh, you're a Holocaust denier. And now denier is attached to everything. It's like the old catchphrase word used to be phobe. You're a homophobe. You're a black phobe, a gay phobe, a transphobe. You know, they attach these little words to things, and they only hear the negative word because it sounds like a punch in the face, instead of feeling like constructive criticism. No, people under 30 should not be police officers. Yes, we should have female police officers. Why? For females. Men should not be interacting with women. Boys especially should not be interacting with women. They don't know how to treat a woman. They don't know how to speak to one. We've got female police officers. This is the worst. But they all get around dropping F-bombs, not caring about the people around them. Cat here. They're setting a bad example on the kids. Remember when we were kids? I'm 52. Remember when we were kids? Not that I was into football. I was into roller hockey, martial arts, BMX. I was a greaser. That I used to be able to kick the shit out of a ball, but God knows where it went. Because I don't kick with my foot, you see. I kick with the end of my leg. Now, the older coppers back in the day, Detective Flood Senior, like Floodie's dad, who was a school teacher, was a decent stoic bloke. Like his generation would remember getting out and kicking the footy around, teaching football, boxing, conflict resolution skills to the kids of my generation. What do they do now? It's like watching since the advent of adolescence, we've created a generation of gronks who think they're stoic, who think they're men, but they're just adolescents. They're playing cops and robbers, chasing each other around town. None of them have got any direction. The naughty kids and the other naughty kids, that's all I see. Two lots of naughty kids. Because they weren't raised right. They were let down by an education system that taught them a whole bunch of convoluting long words, but they haven't got a clue how to speak plain and simply. They have no conflict resolution skills. They cannot enter into open, honest dialect. Not dialectics, but dialect. They cannot have an abrasive session of back and forth discourse without going to physical retaliation. They don't see that they're in the wrong, and when they're in the wrong, all their mates back them up. Now again, we can't just, some kids heading off back to school. Good on you, kids. Ah, bless them. Poor things. Go and get that indoctrination. Perfect time, and exactly what I'm talking about. They're all heading off to go and get their head filled with nonsense. Impractical knowledge. You see, the most important thing a lad could do back in the day wasn't join the force or the military. It was to do a trade. Boys were turned into men within 4 years. There was none of this adolescent bullshit. We were turned into men. Some of us annoying men. Hello? But men nonetheless. Even if in the heat of the moment we didn't respond right, we would go away and think about it, and we'd come back and apologise when we was in the wrong. We wouldn't double down and then expect people to back us up. We knew how to take, I fucked up on the chin. Who the hell is this? There you go.
You haven't got your license, have you?
No. Oh, no, good. Right.
I got money and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, you're on busted jerky.
Yeah, I just got the eyes, mate. Yeah, I might just catch the bus down to the Fairland on the late Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday, Tail Street and catch back to it. I haven't got much up, mate, so I can't really afford to pay back to this.
You talking to me or your phone?
No, it's still good. I don't know what.
I don't know what camera's pointing at me. I'm paranoid cunt. At least it's my camera. I was just a new little
Yeah,
YouTube
the
video.
door's pretty quick, ain't it?
Eh?
Yeah, the door's pretty quick, ain't it?
Yeah, I see you coming.
Yeah, no, I have to get on the door. Jerry can in a fat patch, but I've done taxi before anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to go get ready anyway. Daniel's got children. All right. I'm back. Sorry about that. Ordinarily I'd start again, but I'm not going to. I'll let you listen to that conversation. Would I have helped the guy if I could? Probably. But also would have had, there's another perfect example, also would have had that conversation of like, well, you've been living up the road, we've known each other for a long, long time, quite a few years, you've been living up the road for 6 months or more, and the first time you knock on my door is when you want something. Let's not make a habit of that. But you're welcome to come for a coffee. See how that works? But no, the kids are not okay. Like, the police are kids now. They're kids. And the people that are supposed to be setting them off on the path, the sergeants that are supposed to be teaching them, you see, they train them now. Why do you need to train them? They're not dogs. But this is why they get called dogs. because they're trained. They're not taught. They should be taught how to interact with the general public properly. I mean, they know how to pretend to be someone they're not. They do it all day, every day. You see, the conversation you have with one at a public event compared to the conversation you have with that exact same police officer in the station are not the same conversation. It's not the same person to interact with at all. So don't be fooled into thinking that officer standing at your window has your best interests at heart. They are trying to find a way to enforce legislature because that's what they're taught to do. Not taught, trained. They're not taught to interact with people. How many people know nowadays that they have a thing called discretionary privilege? They call them powers. No, you don't have powers. You can't fly unless you're in a plane. Can't shoot laser beams out your bum. You have privileges granted by the Commonwealth, and the people are the Commonwealth. You work for us, okay? I'm not trying to be a smart ass in saying that. It's the fact. You work for us. If you don't want to work for us, go get a different job. We pay you. At least, that's what people think. In actual fact, the government gets the money from the Federal Reserve and splashes that out everywhere, and then that gets funneled back into private wealth somehow, one way or another. It actually doesn't come full circle. Which is why we've forever got a debt clock that won't stop clicking upwards. Another conversation. But you see, the way most of these young police interact with their elders. My boy's 19, he'll be 20 this year, and if he spoke to somebody my age, the way a lot of police officers speak to people my age, I'd verbally rip him a new one. You don't speak to your elders like that. I don't care if you're older than 18. You don't speak to your elders like that. I still treat elderly people with the utmost of respect. They've done life already. And now they don't understand the world. We allowed the world to become like this. This is not our... We shouldn't be beating each other over the head over it. We shouldn't be allowing the kids to bash us over it. We should be trying to help them fix it. We were set on the wrong path to start with. My generation. We were set off on the wrong path by the boomers. Boomers thought success was how fat your wallet was. They're idiots. Sorry. Not all. But they were a different kind of idiot. They went through times of absolutely nothing when they were kids. They went through war. They saw entire cities destroyed. So their mindset was accumulate, rebuild, accumulate. But they weren't present at home and created a generation that had been let down. They had no love. They just had all the toys you could point a stick at. Spoilt brats. The spoilt brat is created by bad parenting. See how it's always full circle. It comes back to the parents every time. We're voting for these grubs to create mad science policy, the legalities of legislature, and none of it's lawful. There's no law. That is not law. Law is like the laws of physics, the laws of the yin and yang, the laws of what comes around goes around. That's law. That is law, people. We are wearing the consequences of being unlawful now. Law has its own consequences, its own punishments. It's why they call it God's law. It takes care of itself. We are only meant to uphold the rule of law, not enforce legislature and bash each other over the head for the wrong words. Perhaps we should teach each other the right words. Perhaps we should know which end of the gun is dangerous. Perhaps we should know that life is precious instead of we've got a gun problem. No, we don't. We don't have a gun problem. We have a parenting problem. We have a mental health problem that parents have created. Because we have ingrained beliefs that are not based in anything logical. I vote for Labor because my dad voted for Labor and his dad voted for Labor. Yeah? Well, my dad voted for... My dad wanted to play for Hawthorn. Who barracked for Hawthorn? Because his dad barracked for Hawthorn. I don't even like football. I chose to think for myself. It's about time we all started to think for ourselves a bit more, don't you think? Do you think? Yeah, there's some aspects back in the day I used to like about football. I used to like Dermot Brereton. I used to like Wacko Jacko. It was, Big Gipper, Tuck, Danaher. Boy, they were men. They were actual men. They'd tell you to your face what they thought. They'd tell you politely, and if you wanted to argue back, okay then, let's have an argument. Oh, you want to throw down now. Nowadays, if you throw down an officer, you can't even call them officers because they're not officers of the law. They're just enforcers of mad science politics. They have a double standard. They can do and say whatever they like to anyone they like, and there's no recourse. Like when I spoke to the cop the other day up at the Summerfest about Officer Flynn, he said, didn't someone come and talk to you about that? I said, yeah, we had a good conversation. And he left with a lot to think about, not the other way around. Just because you come to speak to me doesn't justify it. You see how that is? Oh, someone come to speak to you about it, didn't they? Yeah. So? Sorry, but you're wrong. And because of that attitude, you're not going to correct yourselves, are you? You're wrong. You're just plain and simple wrong. But you can't admit that you're wrong. Why? Because you're an adolescent. You're alphas disguised as stoics. And again, it's not your fault. It's the way you've been trained. Like a dog. These aren't... This will be taken as an insult. It's derogatory. It's not. These people trained you like a dog. Do you want to be a dog or do you want to be a human being? They did you a terrible disservice. They've done everyone you interact with a terrible disservice. Because you're not a decent human being. You've been trained into being an attack dog, an enforcement agency for mad science politics. Look at the world. Look around. Was it like this 20 years ago, 30 years ago? And then, 30 years ago, everyone had guns. We weren't running around shooting each other. Those who did, well, that was the life they chose And they were interacting with one another, not the general public. The law was taking care of itself. If you want to stick your arm in a wood chipper, you're going to lose your arm. It's the way it goes. You play rough, you get hurt. But now it's spilled out into the streets. Why? People aren't polite anymore. People aren't raised right. People aren't taught. All right, you're going to do that shit. You keep that shit inside. People have been radicalised by religion and politics, and nobody's got any faith. They run around with their religion thinking it's okay to hurt people. No, it's not. They've turned police into a political religion, or religious politics. It's insane. It is insane, people. It's madness. People are afraid to speak their mind. How do you know that you are wrong, or how can you be corrected if nobody can correct you? It's insanity. This is absolute madness. If you will not listen to the voice of reason and just double down on being wrong, that just creates more black eyes and fat lips in the finish, and assault charges and court cases, and round and around and around it goes. Where it stops, who knows. To what end do we keep going on this crazy train? To what end? There's only one course of action. There's only one path to go on from here. This is the right path. We need to go on the right path. We've all wandered from it. Everyone. Nobody even knows where the path is, what it looks like. I can tell you now, you need to turn around and go back the other way. The path is not at the end of a pencil. The path is not at the police station. The path is not at your local member. The path is not down at the council. The path is life. The path is the rule of law. The only way you're going to find it is by living. And the government does not want you to live a free life. They want you controlled. Mad science politics, enforced by police. Walk away, people. Just walk away from this garbage. It's nonsensical. If you don't believe in God and you don't believe in heaven, fine, just have a look around. Because we're definitely turning this planet into hell. Is that what you want? Is that what you want for your kids? To live in hell? To have children themselves in hell? The kids aren't okay. They're not alright. They don't know any better because they've never seen any better. The kids coming up today will be the first kids that don't know what a treehouse is. They don't know what the game of Spotlight is. They don't know knucklebones. They can't play chess. Most of them can't even put a bit of bait on a hook. They don't know where milk comes from. They can't field dress a wallaby or a rabbit. They can't provide for their family without money. That's not a man. That's a mouse. waiting to be squashed, waiting to be eaten by a cat. That's human roadkill. Yeah, nah, the kids ain't alright. And if we don't do something about it, that'll be all our fault. Don't have a look in the mirror. God bless you.